So right about this time, right now it's like 2 p.m., 2:30, 3 o'clock sometimes. Right about that time every day, you guys usually see a video from me on my main channel, and I go and I order some Uber Eats. It is a disgusting habit, bro. And everybody asks me, well, AG, don't you cook? Didn't you cook for years in the professional kitchen? I sure did, and I still order Uber Eats all the time. So I thought that would be the perfect segue to explain to you guys how I even ended up in the cooking industry in the first place, because it's an interesting story. A lot of you guys know I used to work at Target. I hated that there. I started my YouTube channel, but right when I started my YouTube channel, I had transitioned to another job. I'm not sure if it was before or after, and that was cooking. And it's not really the thing you would think about to get another job, right? So I'll tell you guys exactly how it started, but mainly it was just my grandpa. My grandpa left memories in my brain from the food he cooked because he used to be a chef, and he was mainly like the fuck it, let's see what happens type of factor that made me want to step into it. But anyway, before we get into that story, we're gonna go and get some food because we're not doing Uber Eats anymore. I rebuke the spirit of Uber Eats out of my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with it. And and yeah, so I'm gonna make ribeye steak quesadillas. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna put the egg in there. We're gonna get the steak from Whole Foods. You're gonna come with me. And it's just something simple, basically lunch because I don't usually eat in the morning. And then we'll figure out what I gotta do for dinner. But anyway, come along, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go over the Whole Foods. Let's get this ribeye and let's get this thing going. All right, so we're in the car. We're about to go. I don't like people. No, I'm playing. I just don't like shopping per se. So we're about to go get this over with. But this place is really cool. They have like a meat section. I'll show you guys all the different meat that's there. And I'll see you guys soon.
Can I have the middle one? The middle one. Third one. 2 pieces. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh God, so we got. All right, so we're back from the store. Let me make sure my audio is being recorded. I did a whole segment and I didn't even have the audio on, so I had to do it again. But anyways, we're back from the store. We got ourselves a big ass ribeye. Don't worry, my hands are clean. Look at that shit. Look at that. A boneless. I don't know if it's grass fed or any of that shit. You know, they be putting titles on shit. They be putting grass fed and shit on the label just to make it more expensive, in my opinion. But anyway, so basically, how did I become a cook? You know, how did I even end up in this situation before the whole YouTube thing? So you guys all remember I was at Target, super miserable. I used to do OPU, is online order pickup. If you guys love Target, you guys go to Target or whatever, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I used to pick up your orders from the warehouse, put it all together, put it at the front, and you would come pick it up. Okay, you would never see me. I'm the silent warrior. That's what I used to do at Target. But I hated my life. And this was how I really hated myself right here. This is how I really hated everything. I stayed at Target out in Oakland, Emeryville Target, for about 3 years. But then eventually I moved to LA. Okay. Now, they at the same time they had changed up their music playlist. This is really what pushed me over the edge, y'all. They had changed their music playlist, and the music, one of the tracks on Target's playlist was something about life passing you by and how day by day goes by and you don't do anything about it. And life is just passing me. I don't know what the fuck the tempo of the song was. I don't know what the lyrics were, but I remember I knew that to heart. Every day at Target, I would listen to that song at least 11, 12 times a day per shift. Hated everything. So I was like, at the time, my girl, she got herself a job, and it was at a restaurant, and it was at Gwyn, if you guys know, it's in LA. And there's a chef named Curtis Stone. He's like this big Australian chef, you know, big. He seems like a fucking douchebag to me, but you know, I never met the guy. That's just from far. He's this Australian dude who owned the place, and she started working there, and I really saw the work behind it. And I was like, that's something really cool. That's really cool. They're playing with fire. Fucking they have all these racks of dry aged meat, you know, how long it's been dry aged, all this cool shit. She took me there one time, and I think she worked there as like a back help or something, and eventually she moved on to a butcher. So me looking at that, I was like, you know what, maybe that's what I need. My grandfather was a great chef. He worked on a boat. I was like, maybe that's couple goals right there. Maybe we should both just work in the industry. So that's what I did. I started looking for jobs, and I finally landed on, I think it was, well, I don't think, it was Melrose Place. I was on Indeed looking for places, but I went to a few places, and they looked at me, they're like, boy, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I didn't know anything I was doing. They're like, man, you don't know what you're doing, like in their eyes. So it was a grueling, I was at my wit's end though. I didn't know what to do. I had maybe just started YouTube around this time, but I had like 200 to 500, 600, 700 subscribers. Like nothing was happening on YouTube, like in terms of supporting myself. Fuck that. Those are hopes and dreams. We need to focus on real life. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I finally find a spot, and it's an opening place. His name was Chef David Lesbron, just a cool guy, long hair, cowboy hat, rode a Harley Davidson, chill ass dude. Kind of too chill, you know. He never would let you know what you're thinking. He would always pop up on you and catch you and shit. You catch you doing something wrong, you know what I mean? And then he was just a very silent but stern type of a boss. But anyways, he took me in, man, and he showed me a whole bunch of shit. And then there was a sous chef named Jasper. I don't know if his last, I thought he was a white boy for the longest, but then I realized he always brings up like white black issues, and he's an asshole, right? One day he brought up that he was like half Mexican, and something about his Mexican side makes him just saying some stupid shit, right? And I was like, oh, you're Mexican? And he was like, yeah, that's why my last name is blah blah. And I was like, oh shit. Anyway, I forgot his last name, Jasper S. I forgot. But that's my guy, man. He taught me everything. He taught me how to hold a knife properly. You know what I'm saying? He taught me how to sharpen my knife. He taught me how to cut, dice, julienne, I'm forgetting terminology, but he would taught me all the cutting methods, all that. But he's an asshole. Like all the typical crazy chef antics that you think that's just for like movies and shit. No, these guys are about it. Like kicking shit, yelling at you, telling this shit's fucked up. You gotta do it again. What the fuck? Like it was intense. But that guy really taught me how to survive in that industry, because that industry is tough. Anybody who's ever worked in there, anybody who's worked the back room in any cooking industry knows what the fuck I'm talking about. It's tough, especially if you work in professional kitchen atmospheres and you need to get those fucking tickets out. There's no, you freeze up, you get the fuck off of the line, you know? So he really, not even him, but just the whole experience really upped my mental fortitude in life, I feel like. So I feel like that was the best experience I ever could have had. And it was so hectic that I couldn't even be depressed. I couldn't even be sad. It was just go home, fall asleep, work on your dreams, do YouTube, and go back to work. So that's pretty much how it happened. And I have a lot of kitchen stories, man. But that's pretty much how it went. They taught me how to grill. They taught me how to do the saute station. I started off in pantry, like cold things. I would do sushi. I learned how to shuck oysters. I have thousands of oysters shucked. Nobody could shuck an oyster better than me. Nobody could shuck an oyster and make the skin separate from the shell without disrupting the oyster better than me. Okay, listen, I am a pro. Went from pantry to the fryer station, super easy. Learned some timings. Learned how to put like a 3-minute timer in my head, a 5-minute timer in my head, 10-minute timer in my head. Then I went to the grill station. It's a little bit easier. It's really hot over there. Burnt myself all over the spot. That's why I have a lot of tattoos, because I like them. But I also tattoo over a bunch of burns and shit also. I feel like it's kind of like a cook rite of passage, tat over a burn real quick. You know, there you go. Yeah. But that's pretty much it, man. And then I just grew from there until you guys met me as who I am today, you know? But anyway, we're going to get back on that. I have a few more things to say, but we're going to do a little time lapse. We're going to fuck this steak up real quick, okay? I'm going to show you the setup, and I'm going to show you the best sriracha mayo that you could fucking make for a steak, okay? In my opinion, it's sweet, it's spicy, and it has a good base with the mayo I'm going to use. Fire, in my opinion. And yeah, let's make a fucking quesadilla, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much the story on how I started in the cooking industry. And that was just the beginning of everything, you know. Met friends along the way, learned how to cook. Saute was the hardest thing for me, actually making bases and making like pastas and sauces. But without further ado, not too much rambling, let's get into this. Let's get into this ribeye real quick. Let's sear this bitch. I don't have no black pepper, so don't flame me in the comments. I forgot the black pepper, damn it. So don't even, I'm telling you, so you don't have to tell me. Okay, let's do it. Basically, throughout this segment, I'm just going through all my ingredients. Basically, if you have steak, cheese, and eggs, you can do this. You know what I mean? Get some butter. Over here, we got the tortillas. We got the eggs. We got everything else. But the main thing you want for this sriracha sauce, folks, is the red hot sweet chili sauce from Ralph's. Obviously, the original sriracha sauce. You don't want any of that fake bullshit. And then you want mayonnaise, right? And you're going to mix those to taste, basically. And, I mean, it's fire, y'all. You need to go to Ralph's, say hey to the dog, but you won't be disappointed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I personally feel like a crust should look like. I always start from the side, you know, get a little color on the side, and then after about 3 minutes on a ribeye, maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 minutes, you know, you gotta go with your feelings. You gotta let the ancestors tell you, bro. Basically, look at that shit. Hold on, let me get my damn knife. Actually, I don't have my knife, but look at this knife. Okay, you can't hear that. It's too loud, but it's crusty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Oh, let me wash this knife real quick. All right, so I did the steak. I haven't had to time a steak in a while. I think the steak is medium rare. We will find out. We will find out together at the same time. So we're gonna come over here. Well, let's find out what the steak's looking like. I let it sit for about 5 minutes. Okay. Y'all see that? Well, my damn camera died, but this is what it's looking like. I don't know where we ended off, so I'm just giving you guys a little, hold on, let me put my wire somewhere where you can't see it. A little testy, you know, a little pinky. Let me give Angel peace. Angel. Should she get one? Do you think she deserves one? Angel, do you deserve a piece? Okay, if you go down, I'll give you a piece. Angel, down. Down. Oh, that's my girl. All right, come here. Get up. Here. Such a graceful young lady. Such a graceful young lady. Okay, I'm gonna put everything together. I got the quesadilla rising. I got the cheese bubbling. I got the steak in the corner. I'll be back. Where's the sauce? I put the sauce in the fridge. I'm gonna be back when everything's built. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is basically it. We got the beggar down here. And this is the steak, you know what I'm saying? This is the steak quesadillas, you know, drenched in butter, crusted out of butter. And actually, we're gonna put this camera back right here, you know? And that's just a day of AG Tactical, you know, trying to figure out what to eat. A little story, a little backstory of how I ended up cooking. I'm gonna show you guys a midsection shot and how to eat this shit in a minute. But you know you can't go wrong with a little spicy guacamole, ladies and gentlemen. Bam! You got your spicy sriracha mayo. You got your damn steak. I left a piece for myself. You got your steak. This is dipping sauce, y'all. That right there is dipping sauce. And this is basically my midsection for y'all folks, man. A little breakfast quesadilla. You cut it in triangles. You get up in there, shit looking like macaroni and cheese, but it's actually eggs, though. You know what I'm saying? It's eggs, cheese, a little bit of love on top of it. Good ass steak. Definitely have some black pepper. But this is how you do it. You have it right next to the bowl. You got your guacamole open. You dip it in that bitch. You eat the guacamole first, maybe. Or maybe you go for the spice. Look at that bitch leaking. That's how you know this shit is juicy. Stop fuck. All right. Dip that shit. Hold on. It don't make no goddamn sense, bro. You see that shit leaking? Y'all must have not seen that shit leaking. Anyways, I'm gonna get up out here. Fuck with me, y'all. This is just the first episode to figure out. Damn. This is just my first episode to figure out how I want to do things in my own kitchen. But there's gonna be a lot more to come, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know if I'm really in frame right now. I'm starving. I'm gonna see you guys later. And hit me up in the comments if you want to hear any particular story. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Peace.